Today on the podcast, we talk with Jeff Costello from Eastbrook Homes.
Your rent in in New York City right now for a one bedroom is averaging $4,000. Okay. I'm not sure what your mortgage payment is, but that's not my mortgage
Nope.
payment.
No.
And
Nope.
that's rent.
Right.
So it's like, oh my God, for a one bedroom, which is probably about as big as the room you're in, probably about as big as the room I'm in. And you're like, this is just nuts. And that's why, again, West Michigan works.
And we dive in deeper to the realities of the housing market here in West Michigan. And as I said, my guest, one of my dear friends from Eastbrook Homes, the one, the only Jeff Costello. How are you today, my friend?
Good morning, sir. Always good to be with you. Always good to see all of your trinkets and toys as I see your wonderful room that you have over there. I'm envious. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't have those types of things, but you never know how it goes. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I am excellent. So, Jeff, we're here to talk about the market and not kind of, how seemingly crazy it seems. And as you read the news day in and day out, it seems like the housing market is getting worse and worse and worse. So I come to you, dear friend, for you to kind of walk me through the reality of the market and perhaps how I should think about it and deal with it as I'm thinking about buying here in the fourth quarter.
Well, what you have is there are those articles out there. I don't disagree with you because I read some of the same ones, to be honest with you. Ironically, Eastbrook Homes has been in business since 1967. We just had the best September we've ever had in company history.
Wait,
we sold.
I want to pause you for a half second and let you go. But I want to say this. There is an article that's out as we are recording this that says the housing market is the worst September in the history of measuring the housing market. So I want you to repeat what you just said with the context that nationwide, it's been the worst September in the history of Septembers.
Yeah, so you and I basically were both on CNN prior to getting on the podcast here, is essentially what happened there because it does. The article says exactly that. It was the worst. It says the housing market's going from bad to worse to whatever the next word is in that area. And then conversely, like I said, Eastbrook had the best September that we've ever had. It continues to show the resiliency of the West Michigan area and how affordable it is. Now, have prices gone up? Has inventory decreased? Absolutely, but it's still incredibly affordable. Anytime we're talking to somebody that's from out of state, whether it be East Coast, West Coast, South, they can't believe what they can buy here as opposed to what they are leaving for whatever reason they're coming here. So it's still an amazing area. You used the word insulated. I do believe part of that is there as well. You've just got some really, really strong things going here. And honestly, we're excited about the fourth quarter. I'm not gonna lie to you. We really are.
Jeff, you and I have worked together for almost 5 years at this point doing projects like this. And one of the things that I see as an outsider month in and month out as I talk to your team and various members that use Eastbrook as someone to provide them a home is your team seems to be able to navigate these very complex situations like the housing market that we had before COVID, after COVID, after COVID, and then obviously here. Can you talk a little bit about what makes the team so nimble and able to navigate through something that seems very complex? And obviously, if you're reading CNN or I don't want to out but if you're reading the national news, it feels like I should stay home and not buy. But as you're saying, you guys are excited about the fourth quarter and have nimbly worked through insanely complex housing situations for the 5 years that I've worked for you. Can you talk about how you guys are able to do that?
Yeah, it goes back to leadership. Mick McGraw, again, Eastbrook started in 1967. Mick has been there, a number of years. And he is so focused on 2024 and 2025 and beyond. He doesn't live in 2023. He continues to kind of forecast and look out and see what's going on. We have not slowed in our development. We have not slowed in our building. We're putting in showcase homes and spec homes. He continues to be aggressive with regards to it's his money, and continuing to say, you know what, guys, we're going to get through it and we're going to make it through. And just trust me on this one type of a thing. Here's what's going on. The beauty of what he's done is back 10 years ago, he bought land in the Byron Center area, which is growing, the Caledonia area, which is growing, the Rockford area, which is growing, not to mention what's going on the Lakeshore, which will always go on in the Lakeshore because of the lake, and the Hollands and the Muskegans and the Grand Havens and the Fruitports. And it's just amazing how he's done it. So he's positioned us very, very well for what we're experiencing now. Would we love to sell more homes? All that? Absolutely. But we take what we've got and we continue to push forward with it.
Jeff, you are continuously optimistic as you and I do these podcasts year in and year out. Talk to me a little bit about what your year has been like. You're excited about the fourth quarter. What's the entire year been like for you?
We started out a little slow. I think that I know that you have a number of people right now that are in the marketplace that were not buyers back when the interest rates were at 6 and 7%. It was 22 years ago when this was. So these people were either in high school or they were in college. They weren't buyer ready. So as we started that first quarter, we had a lot of education and a lot of long talks with people that were younger. And we said, listen, we'd love to tell you it's going to go back to 2 and 3%, but it's just not going to. It took 22 years to get to here. It's going to take X amount of years to get back. Do we see it going down? Sure. But when will that be? We don't know. So first quarter, we started out a little bit rough. Second quarter, we got some momentum. Third quarter was, like I said, really, really good for us. And like I said, the September month proved to be something that not necessarily forecasted, but really, really absorbed and ready to go. And now like I said, we're just keep pushing forward. Just got to keep pushing forward.
Does that momentum, is it like cyclic, right? So you have a huge September. Does that sort of roll downhill to the rest of Q4 and that's why you're excited? Or what does the market look like on your side of the fence when you have a big month? Does that momentum keep going?
Oh, absolutely. It keeps going. We look at things and we say, okay, let's sell this or let's sell that. Maybe we do a small discount on this to move this one in order to put additional product in the ground. Not only was September good and the number ended up being 41, we're actively putting in showcase or spec houses, depending on where you come from in the country. They're a product that we put in the market, and we're going to do 40 of those. So you look at that and you say, well, gee, how are you going to dig 81 houses? We're going to figure out a way to get those things done so that February and March, which we don't know what that's going to look like here in Michigan. You never know. We're going to have product ready for the individuals that are moving here. So absolutely it goes forward. We look at that and say, great, we have built these and now we're going to build more. Absolutely.
You said early in the year you had some long conversations, and as we are speaking right now, there's probably quite a few people on the fence of becoming buyers who are like, I'm not really, I'm reading all this stuff, I'm kind of freaked out. How do they start those long conversations with you, and what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, they start the conversation actually with their lender, and we want to make sure that the buyers understand it's not about the interest rate. Their rate can be 2%, 10%, 4%. It doesn't really matter. It really matters as to what their monthly payment is, okay? What their monthly payment. So you have John and Sue out there, and they're saying, we have a monthly payment of this. This is what we can afford, because we also want to go out to dinner. We also want to go on vacation. We also want to live life. And if you can get to that where you're comfortable with it, then come to me as the builder and go, this is my monthly payment. We can work through building you a house and make sure that we fit in that monthly payment, knowing that interest rates are going to just keep adjusting. You can't lock in anything until we have an address, till we're far enough along. So it's the monthly payment. It's understanding dollars in, dollars out, and really educating yourself with the lender, and then coming to me going, okay, this is what I've got. Let's put this together.
Jeff Costello from Eastbrook Homes. As always, my friend, it is a pleasure to hang with you for a couple minutes. Have an awesome rest of the year.
Thanks, man. Have a great one.